On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Jerome Powell's going to be blamed. There's just no question about it. He is going to be the fall guy. I think he knows this. I don't know. Again, I have a hard time, and everyone has their opinions. I got you. Whatever your opinion is, it's perfect. It's exactly right. The area I have a hard time with a lot of this stuff is, are they doing it on purpose, or are we literally seeing people that are just so predictable that they're doing exactly what we need and expect them to do? Again, a lot of people, they're actors. I doubt that. I just have a hard time with that because I just know how hard it is to act convincingly all the time. Joe Biden was just so convincingly bad, right? Like the way he'd get lost and stuff. Again, you could be an actor doing it, but it was too good. Whatever the case is, maybe he was just that good. Jerome Powell's much the same, right? This guy's got to know that he should lower rates, but he doesn't want to, or he can't, or he's being told not to. Whatever the case is, however this is playing out, he ultimately, I think, is meant to be the fall guy. We're seeing potentiality of that. Stock market, just the things it gets butthurt over nowadays is just so strange. I mean, it's one thing to see moderations in the day, which stuff happens, right? News comes out, earnings reports, yada, yada. But very interesting, all the things that are going on. We've got some fun news today. Good news, fun news, I don't know. I've also got a great music show tonight. It's going to be some of my favorite songs, just bitchin' songs, frankly. I think anyways. That's why they're my faves, right? Obviously, I'm going to like this show, but I hope you guys come along. Certainly join live if you'd like. It's 3 p.m. Pacific on Fridays, 6 p.m. Eastern, or 5 Central, 4 Mountain Time. But at the same time, you can always watch it after, right? A lot of times it's just the music. I try not to dilly-dally too much in the breaks. Certainly want to give credit to the wonderful people that donate, which is always sweet. And just, try to have some fun and move through the day and finish off the week in a very powerful, happy, cool kind of way, groovy kind of way in many cases. So please join us for that. All said, let's get the ball rolling. Trump truthed this out based on the highly provocative statements of former president of Russia, Dmitry Medvedev, who is now the deputy chairman of the Security Council of the Russian Federation. I have ordered 2 nuclear submarines to be positioned in the appropriate regions, just in case these foolish and inflammatory statements are more than just that. Words are very important and can often lead to unintended consequences. I hope this will not be one of those instances. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Medvedev and Trump kind of having a tick for tack. I didn't really pull Medvedev's the comment he had back to Trump, and it was really more towards India and Russia's dying economies comment. I don't know what exactly he's referring to as far as Medvedev's comments, too, because he's made quite a few incendiary things lately. Whatever the case is, this is moving things forward in a not good way. Or maybe this is part of what's meant to hold the line. I mean, a lot of it has been, in many cases, the fact that there was militaries close by, so certain countries couldn't take advantage of it. I think it's kept China in check, Russia in check, us in check. I think a lot of this stuff has been meant to keep everybody in check, so no deep state things can happen. So we'll see. Again, this is there's been a lot of talk that we are supposed to walk up to death's door, if you will. So again, how that plays out, if it needs to play out to that, like what level it needs to play out. Let me say it that way. It's a better way to put it. It has to be as bad as it has to be. And I think it's going to scare everybody in varying ways. Some people are going to realize it's bullshit, and some people are literally going to be like, oh my God, we're going to die. So you'll get the variant of it. So sometimes a situation can play out beautifully for many different people. Guys, this is just something I don't understand. And I was wondering if maybe some of you guys out there that actually have access to me. There's this TikToker that was asking for tips on how to be unattractive to MAGA men. And they got the answer you would expect. First off, it's trans individual or something like that. Not the most attractive individual, certainly not trying to be, that's for sure. Not making any effort, I would say, but wants to say like, how can I get MAGA people not to be attracted to me so I don't have to get into a crap relationship? And then a lot of people just just mean comments, And what I kind of wonder is why? Why do people like to make mean comments? Like I was answering a couple of them on the YouTube, the new channel, just to try to make it seem like I'm actually engaged and I actually exist there. And there was just a couple people that were a little weird. One in particular, and it was kind of funny, and I responded to him. It actually bothers me less than it used to, which makes me happy. But nonetheless, I just wonder why people feel the need to say mean things. Like, does it make you feel better? Is that what it is? I mean, is that the intention of it? Or you just like being mean? You just disagree with something so much that you want to, like, be mean to the individual? Like they've somehow assaulted you with their way of being? Again, you don't have to listen to what they said. You don't have to follow these individuals, right? But, again, it's a weird trend. Bullying is essentially what it is. I mean, I don't think we should have rules against bullying. You knew there was bullies back in the day, and there was ways to deal with bullies, then and now, and, that varied, all sorts of complexities. But bullying has kind of always existed. And I don't fully understand it. Frankly, I don't like it when people are mean to me, and I don't like being mean to people. It makes me feel bad when I'm mean to them, Like, I don't even like killing the bugs. Like, I'm just weird. So, again, this is my ignorance where it's like, I don't understand it. Anyway, a lot of people do it. Don't know why. Like, Dylan Mulvaney's another one. Like, I got with the publicity and what they did, what Budweiser did, Bud Light or whatever, Anheuser-Busch, whatever. What they did, I get. That pissing a lot of people off. Totally. That made sense. Stop buying the product for sure. But then the incessant attacks against Dylan for what? Just being Dylan, right? Just being true to herself. Like, I'm not trying to start static in any way. It's just a funny thing to me. Like, attacking people to me is a very weird thing. Like, I don't understand it. I don't like it. But it is what it is. Floridians are creating a holiday for Hulk Hogan. They're going to have half staff today, so I don't know. Go figure. It's kind of a Florida thing nonetheless. But Hulk Hogan Day will be emblazoned for years to come on August 1st, and starting, of course, today. So happy Hulk Hogan Day, Floridians. I wish you guys a wonderful Hulk Hogan Day. And again, I'm very sad that Hulk Hogan died. I was back when he started, I was into wrestling, Andre the Giant and Randy the Macho Man Savage, and who was the Snake? Jake the Snake, right? I was into that. I was into it back then. It was cool stuff. Of course, Hulk Hogan, the time he lifted up in the movie, I think it was Rocky. What? No, was it? He lifted, it hurt his back, I think, but he actually got the Giant, Andre the Giant up, which was pretty crazy. I think when Sly Stallone lifted Hulk Hogan up in that Rocky 2, 3, was it? Whatever one it was. Interesting. California bullet train. Hopefully getting rid of it, guys. It's the plan. That's what it's looking like. They're probably going to try to sue. But I think, again, this is going to affect my state in a bad way. I'm happy to see that. I live here. They're going to try to do weird stuff. They can't get blood out of a stone, so they're kind of screwed. But this whole thing hasn't played out at all like it was supposed to. It's extraordinarily over budget, like multiples over budget. Zero of it completed. We've got the Democrats, of course, in this state swearing that this needs to continue, that they're not going to stop, that this project has to move forward, even though, again, this is a big, giant boondoggle. And I'd love to know and get an accounting of where this money has actually gone. There is zero chance that 100% of these funds have been wasted actually trying to build infrastructure, track, any of that kind of nonsense. I just can't believe it. I don't believe for a second that 100%. There has to be money that's gone off to weird consulting companies. Like I want to see the consulting fees. I want to see fees for what biological or ecological damage, like, I don't know, whatever, environmental studies. I want to see those fees. I want to see how many billions have been spent on those things. Hopefully they get rid of it, and I pray they do. DNI Gabbard says the big 2020 election fraud news is coming. We've got a few things on the election front. Here's a good start.
You made a comment at a cabinet secretary meeting that has stuck with our audience, and they'd really love an update on it. And it's about the 2020 election. And you were talking about the security of that election, and you were telling President Trump that there has been evidence that has been uncovered in of well, potential breaches. I'm not exactly certain, but I'd love a follow up on this. Here's the moment right here, and perhaps do you have any updates on the 2020 election or anything that you've found, Director?
The point that I was making there in the cabinet meeting was early discovery that I had seen from a whistleblower who came forward, who was working under CISA at that time, which is responsible for critical infrastructure and trying to protect against cyber vulnerabilities, critical infrastructure, including, of course, the integrity of our election systems. And what was interesting was seeing how this whistleblower brought forward information that CISA at that time, the federal government, was aware of vulnerabilities in our election machines, but they chose not to disclose that information to the American people or to the administration at that time. This is an area, of course, of critical importance, once again, for the American people to have faith in the integrity of our elections and that it is their voice that is heard through these elections. We're continuing to investigate this, and when we have information that we're ready to release, you'll hear about it.
Okay, so we're going to be hearing more on the 2020 election and some critical vulnerabilities.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
We've also got some fun news around CISA. I think it's coming up here shortly. If I don't have it just yet. I've got the election stuff kind of stuff together here. But we'll talk about CISA, who the director was then, where they were almost going to end up at, and where they're not actually ending up now. All said, State Election Board returns to 2020 election and seeks help from the Trump DOJ. This is from, good God, Fulton County, Georgia. Kept wanting to say Germany. I'm like, I see a G word in my head, and I'm like, that's not it. 3 right-wing members, again, this is obviously a left-leaning paper, but they were on the state election board. They revived the 2020 presidential election stuff, wanted to look into it. It was a 3-2 vote. They're continuing forward on this. They wanted to get the papers. The counties involved have refused to give those papers. They want the voter list, chain of custody forms, ballot images, documentation of security seals, and ballot scanner paperwork. Fervier and the Democratic Party appointee Sarah Tyndall Gazel opposed this resolution. Fervier said the investigations of Fulton was already completed when the board reprimanded the county in May of 2024 for double scanning more than 3,000 ballots during, they admit, to double scanning ballots. Was that the same people that Giuliani got in trouble for? Wonder. Anywho, this guy Johnston's like, yeah, no. Johnston says the case isn't over. Hell to the no. And so, yeah, he hasn't responded to the board's Election Day 2024 subpoena seeking the 2020 documents, is what he's saying, that Fulton hasn't done this. They haven't given up the documents. A judge has scheduled a hearing in September on the county's motion to quash the subpoena. We'll see what happens there. This case is not closed. It is not dismissed, Johnston said. To date, from the subpoena from November 5th, 2024, not a single document has been presented to this board. The resolution calls for the Secretary of State and Attorney General to seek assistance from authorities, including the Department of Justice, to obtain these documents. Like, we need these documents. These documents haven't been given. And basically they're saying, look, here's the thing. We don't want to give you the documents. They're saying this is a blatant abuse of power. I love how, when they talk about, democracy on their side of the fence all the time, the second anybody wants accountability from them, they don't want to give up the ghost because, what? It's different then. Now you're abusing government to attack me. Again, this is very much a narcissist / service to self / I don't know. It's a very weird group of people that exist in the population. Typically, these are the people that gravitate towards positions of power. So, not a huge surprise that these are the kinds of answers we'd get from them. Needless to say, this Johnston feller is trying desperately to get that ball moving. And the conservative side won on a 3-2 vote to move this forward. Again, we'll see what the courts do. That'll be very interesting. Dan Scavino Jr. posted this. Dems, thought Trump and those close to him would be in prison by now. That was their end game after a long 9-year journey. But he's back, and the cover-up is unraveling before our very eyes. Buckle up and sleep tight, y'all. You know who you are. TikTok. Messing with their homies. Gotta love that. Here's this West Point story I was telling you about. Well, sorry. Will be in a second. This is a different one. West Point oriented. West Point delayed correcting the false statement on Hegseth's admission. They didn't exactly admit to it up front. We've got emails that have been obtained by @SecureUSA and shared with @Free Beacon that show that West Point officials confirmed Hegseth's acceptance on December 10th. But West Point waited until after Hegseth posted his acceptance letter on December 11th before correcting its false statement to ProPublica. And ProPublica, they did this whole story, and it looked bad on Hegseth. Hegseth had to prove that he did in fact get accepted, showed when it happened, and then showed that he even graduated. But we had a problem with West Point actually admitting to it. Now, interestingly, Jen Easterly, she is the director of Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency during the Biden administration, CISA. Said her appointment to position at West Point was unfortunately rescinded. So Biden, after trying to destroy this anyway, but then had CISA who did what they did with the elections. Now all of a sudden they were going to reward her with a wonderful post where they could continue to destroy West Point. Well, that was found. And I bet there's a lot of these types of things. Like, many people don't realize there's so many of these still. Like, Epstein docs and stuff like that really can't come out until after we've got more clarity on our administration. Plus the people that aren't even in their offices. There's over 80 people that haven't been confirmed yet. So we got a long way to go to actually get to where we are on a full charge, full going. And look what Trump's done already. Like, just think about if he had his full cabinet, well, his full group of people that get appointed. I don't know what the proper term is for that gaggle, if you will, but it is a lot of people. So we'll see what happens, but she got her appointment kicked. Easterly was named the Robert F. McDermott Distinguished Chair in the Department of Social Sciences in an ex-post now deleted by the Dean of West Point, who referred to her appointment as a homecoming worth celebrating. Somebody else is probably not going to be working there anymore. Robert or Bob, what do you prefer to go by when you're being fired? I'm just curious. Probably keep it formal. So we'll see what happens on this whole story. It's fantastic stuff. Again, want to remind you guys, My Pillow, have a lot of fun talking with Mike every couple weeks. And it's kind of interesting is they've taken an interest in my channel because of you guys. You guys are so awesome. You guys know what the frick is a good sheet and what's a good pillow and what's a good slipper and what's good pajamas. You guys frickin' know. Giza Dream Sheets, see, they're back. I mean, again, you got to take advantage of the sweet-ass sales when the sweet-ass sales come up. I get a sweet-ass sales email from them. No, I don't. They don't actually call it that. But they do communicate with me about some of the new stuff they're going to add to the page when Mike's coming on. So next week, be mindful. But I'm telling you this, the slippers right now, hands down, best deal going on in town. They will... I can't imagine ever be cheaper than this. They are the older ones. They're going to come in with the newer ones that they'll probably start pushing for the holidays. I highly recommend you buy a gift for one of your friends, girlfriend, boyfriends, other side friends, wives, husbands, whatever's. If you have a dog that chews up your slippers, hell, get them a pair. They're cheaper now. At least when they destroy them, you won't feel half as bad. My slippers, though, they've got beautiful colors. They've got that thick sole, by the way, 7 layers. It's made with some soybean husks or some weird technology. It's pretty cool, which is, if you think is, it's like natural, which is groovy, but it's like 7 layers, so super good, stitched on the side that you can wear them outside if you want. There's even actually a cleaner protectant thing down here. It's leather spray. You can spray it on there and make them like waterproof and gross proof, right? You can clean them off easier. All the different colors. They got the jump-in slippers. They got the ones that you actually got to put your whole foot in. My girlfriend just mashes the heel down when I buy her those, so we get the jump-in slipper ones. I've learned. I'm a learning human male. Not all of us are. I ask for directions if I'm not sure where the hell I'm going. Frankly, just because I'm lazy. I don't want to spend an hour trying to find it. I'd rather ask somebody that can at least help push me in the right direction. Oh, that way? Really? Oh, shit, I was going to totally go the other way. Yeah, no, it's good. I'm glad I asked. Best towels ever, too, by the way. It was funny as I was at the hotel over the period of time, and I had some friends that, came in and partied in my room a little bit and left quite the mess. And so I grabbed one of the towels from the bathroom. First off, is it just me or am I the only one? I hate the white bleached, that super bleached towels that they have in hotels. I don't know what it is. There's something absolutely disgusting about these towels. Maybe it's just because they've been on so many body parts. I don't know. They feel gross. They burn. Like I don't know. Anyway, it's weird. I swear I can feel the bleach. All said, I went to wipe off some stuff that was on a counter. I think it was champagne or water. I'm not sure which. But went to wipe it and it just smeared. Just left that and it made that funny noise. And I was like, ugh, gross. I'm like, I even thought to myself, my pillow towel wouldn't do this. They don't. They absorb. They're amazing. Great towels. Dog beds too. If you love your dog, seriously. If you don't have a My Pillow dog bed, that's a My Pillow pillow for your dog. But your dog is it's big enough for them to be happy with. And generally, you should have one in each room that you tend to hang out in. I'm just saying, if you work from home, it's a good idea. You have one in the bedroom where it belongs, and then you have one in the office where it belongs. You don't want to move it around. Who does that? I got people for that, right? Come on. Percale Sheets, that promo code. Again, take advantage of the sweet-ass sales. Always hit the outlet tab, too. There's some great clothing. They're actually super comfortable. The cotton they get, it's the Giza area cotton in a lot of cases, at least for the Giza sheets. But their cotton's incredible. And, of course, the My Cross. They've got two different versions of it. They've got the black inner with the silver outer, and they've got a white inner with a black outer. They're sterling silver, men and women's sizes, I assume. I don't know what the difference is between. I think they're the same price, but whatever. Probably a different size. All said, really beautiful necklace, just like Mike Lindell has. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. Coupon code OTF. Also, mystore.com/OTF. There's some really cool stuff on my store. And if you're somebody that makes a product in America and you can actually ramp up production if you need to, or at least produce a decent amount if you had to, go to mystore.com/OTF. And at the very bottom, you'll see my products or submit product or something to that effect. Try to get in there because it's essentially kind of competition for Amazon, and I think it's going to work to a large extent, especially for a lot of the American-made stuff. So certainly always check it out. But mypillow.com/OTF. Either way you go, use the OTF code. Get the best night of sleep you've ever had, and get some cool American products in the meantime. You know what I mean? It's all good. And also, Mike Lindell's legal woes. I don't have that in here anymore. I don't think I've got that. My trial, I got to find it again. There it is. MyPillowTrial.com. This is why I write stuff down. MyPillowTrial.com. Now I got to find my music for the show this afternoon. But we'll dig into that later. All said, use coupon code OTF and help out best you can. Love you guys. There you go. A.G. Bondi warning recipients of these DEI program funds and DEI stuff. Understand that this is not legal. Discrimination on any part is not legal. Even if you discriminate against the majority race because it's a race, that is not legal. She doesn't spell it out quite that much in this article, but all said, yeah, we're not going to. A lot of this is going to be where they start taking away money legally. And again, the opposite is what happened to 4 states into DEI. Texas went pretty far down this path, by the way. Y'all didn't stop it either. You kind of couldn't. Everybody just kind of went with it. And then it kind of got more and more and more and more ridiculous, and it started creeping into the language. They were doing a lot of things. They were really trying to codify, and it took many, many steps. And what we're doing is unraveling it for the most part. Not trying to be mean to anybody either, by the way. I spent a long time talking about that. Dan Bongino posted this, loving it. And an update for all of you on the Operation Summer Heat. Our violent crime takedown push across America continues to deliver results. This is just this week, he says, your FBI teams arrested 80 people and located or identified 14 victims of child exploitation. They also arrested an Ohio man on charges related to threatening to kill a U.S. congressman and helped our law enforcement partners in Washington state investigate and find the suspect responsible for the shooting of a law enforcement officer on the Lumi Reservation. These highlights are just a piece of a larger picture. Since the kickoff of summer heat in late June, FBI has seized 8,200 kilograms of cocaine, That's going to piss off my friends. The real impact driven by coordinated enforcement. Let's see. General numbers, I got 2,500 plus violent criminals have been arrested. 340 child victims have been located or identified at least. 640 plus guns are now out of the hands of criminals. I've said it before and want to reiterate it again. Summer Heat reflects our focus on identifying and disrupting violent criminal trends with real-time data to drive enforcement efforts. It's about staying ahead of violent crime and stopping violence before it escalates. We have much more to do and deliver God bless America and all those who defend her, and all ways that we all do defend too, by the way, especially those that put on a uniform. And I don't know, I lump myself in there, just people that actually stick their face out in front of the public and risk all the mean people that like to be mean. I don't understand. Why do you got to be so mean? There's a Taylor Swift song there. God forbid I'll get attacked for that. House lawmaker is making a push to hold mayors of sanctuary cities responsible for illegal immigrants committing murder within their jurisdiction. Now, Rep. Buddy Carter, Republican from Georgia, is introducing this, establishing responsibility for illegals, crimes, and adding deterrence and accountability. They're calling it the Eric Adams Act. I think this is a little bit, probably not illegal. Doubt it will pass. This is pretty hardcore. I like how there's this Eric Adams and Sanctuary, and you want to be a part of our MAGA group, then you kind of got to stop having Sanctuary City love, right? So I feel like there's that push, right? I feel like it was a very weird fire triangle, if you will, that we got going on here. And so we'll see. We'll see how this continues to play out. But yeah, whether this thing gets pushed through at all is unlikely. I doubt it's legal. I mean, it's kind of weird. But yeah, if this is just since I cut it off a little, if an illegal alien in a sanctuary city commits a crime like murder, then the mayor of that city would be responsible for that death. Again, it's like what they're doing is illegal, and they're making it more possible for sure. The crime numbers for sure, but individuals make individual choices. It is nobody's fault but the individual that made the choice. People like to put blame outside of themselves. Totally get that, but that's where I just kind of personally have a hard time with it. But, you know, to each his own. New lawsuit filed by Seattle against Trump admin over anti-DEI, anti-trans executive orders. So Seattle's fighting. It was kind of funny, though. It was one of my favorite parts. I mean, they're fighting it. Whatever. There's 2 executive orders defending women from gender ideology extremism and restoring biological truth to federal government. I friggin' dislike the titles, always. And the second one, and take big breath, ending illegal discrimination and restoring merit-based opportunity. That wasn't too bad. So these are the 2 they're pissed off about. So down here, one of their people that matter in some weird way, shape, or form, Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell. He says Seattle recognizes what diversity, equity, and inclusion actually mean. That giving every person a fair shot improves outcomes on a level playing field is one of the most basic principles of a strong and just America. Problem is, DEI eliminates white people. So when you say every person, what do you mean exactly? You obviously don't mean every person, because DEI is definitely not inclusion. I don't even know what you mean with the I, frankly, but let's just deal with the first 2, I guess, right? Like, I don't know. Discrimination, equity, again, everybody doesn't just deserve stuff just because. That's not, you earn what you have in life. You earn what you make in your job. If someone's working a different job or a different location and they're making more doing something than you make at a different location, well, was it their fault or yours, right? Or neither, for that matter. Maybe you're just happy making that. So again, this every person thing's really funny to me in the DEI argument. All said, they're going to continue to fight that fight, and we'll see where that gets them. Federal law is not made by one person's edicts, but by legislative branch, and is interpreted and applied by the judicial branch. These are coercive attempts to control by threatening federal funds and linking them to projects and initiatives that are entirely unrelated, which is exactly what the Obama and Biden administrations did. Exactly what they did. Just the other way around. Again, fun times. I can't even begin to say how much CNN's tripping. We got some bad poll numbers again. I don't like poll numbers, but it's funny when it's on CNN and they're talking about how crap their poll numbers are. It's like more fun that way.
One of the reasons why there is no front runner, nobody wants to put anybody up at the top of their ballot list, is because at this particular point, the Democratic brand is in the basement. It is total and complete garbage in the mind of the American public. The Democratic Party's net favorable rating, record lows in all three. Wall Street Journal, 30 points underwater. CNN, 26 points underwater. Gallup, 26 points underwater. And that is being driven in large part by discontent within the Democratic base. The Democratic base wants something different. We'll ultimately end up seeing who they choose. It'll be quite the thing who ultimately gets the rose.
Who ultimately gets, he said ultimately a few times in there, I feel like. But also, this dude's a rock star. One of the most famous, unfamous people on CNN. They hate him, but they love him. So we've got this state of Texas versus BlackRock Inc., State Street Corporation, and Vanguard Group. The, I guess, appeals court or whatever. This judge has allowed this to move forward. Let's put it that way. Federal antitrust law is central safeguard for nations' free market structures. Indeed, antitrust laws are as important to the preservation of economic freedom and our free enterprise system as the Bill of Rights is to the protection of our fundamental personal freedoms. Thus, antitrust law does not yield to the prevailing social policy of the day. This case brings these principles into focus. Plaintiffs allege that defendants BlackRock Inc., State Street Corporation, and Vanguard Group Inc. acquired substantial stakeholdings in every significant publicly held coal producer in the United States and agreed to use their holdings to influence these companies and artificially depress the output of coal. Defendants allegedly did so in the name of environmental stewardship and concern for the climate. The result, plaintiffs assert, is that defendants have reaped the rewards of higher returns, higher fees, and higher profits, while American consumers have paid the price in higher utility bills and higher costs. Plaintiffs allege violations of both state and federal antitrust laws, and they seek damages, injunctive relief, civil penalties, and restitution, among other forms of relief. Big deal. We'll see if it does happen. Hopefully, right? Paxton's sweet. Paxton's a rock star. We obviously got who's he running against? Cornyn? Is that the guy's name? But whatever, Texas, y'all need to get your election. You got some crazy laws are about to pass, too. They're trying to figure out ways to tax you guys a lot more as well. You got a lot of crap in some of the stuff I've seen thus far. I didn't want to do a special on Texas, frankly, because I don't live there. It's not my state. But you guys should check out my good friend S. Jones39. I know she lives there. She might talk about it. And she did an interview with me. You guys go to her channel on Rumble, S. Jones39 on Rumble, and you can check out the interview. Go to her videos tab. I don't know, it's a few back. She's a busy lady, does good music and other stuff. You guys might like her stuff. So anyway, hit a subscribe too while you're there if you don't mind. Especially if you're going to watch the interview. If you're crazy enough to watch her ask me questions, I don't know. You guys, I have to hit the subscribe button. That's all I can say. Presidential fitness test is going to return via Trump executive order. Kind of sad we have to actually make it an executive order. I'm tired of watching videos of him sign his name. Just the fact that he can stop in the middle of a signature or any part of his signature and continue perfectly. It's just gross. I can't do that. I can't even barely do the same signature 4 times in a row. Senate panel rejects Trump cuts to NIH and other health agencies. Again, this cracks me up. The Senate is where I want to say, and this is going to lead into some discussions coming up, but I want to say the Senate, I think, is where 90% of our problem in government, at least in the judicial branch, 90% of our problem in the judicial branch, in my opinion, is the Senate. I think we've got more of the, quote, rhinos, more of the people that are so heavily indebted, people that have so much money in their pockets. They're there 6 years. They don't have to worry about re-election, but they do have to worry about paying back their dues. I think the Senate's probably the biggest problem, hands down. So, ever to figuring out who to trust, I don't know, but they've literally decided not only are we not going to cut NIH's spending, but we're going to increase its spending. And they passed this 26-3. Almost want to be curious who the 3 were, frankly. But it's bipartisan because it's a money spender. It's a money waster. They have no desire whatsoever. I granted, and the way they're going to sell this too, by the way. Oh, for Alzheimer's research or Alzheimer's disease. $100 million increase. What do you think what do you think the chances that they find out that a lot of the, the statin drugs, the ones that are the cholesterol, but like a lot of these anti-cholesterol drugs are actually causing the problem. Like that's where memory needs cholesterol. It's just part of the process of how the body builds it. And all these medications that we typically are on are maybe possibly the cause of the enhanced numbers of Alzheimer's disease that we're starting to experience. Like, are they ever going to be able to point it back that direction? Are studies done like that? I mean, theoretically, this is us funding it, so it shouldn't be the companies that are trying to protect themselves funding it, right? Like the soda industry is saying, no, soda's fine for you. The sugar industry, sugar's fine for you. Tobacco industry, tobacco's fine for you. They did that forever. They're still doing it. This is funny. It's like, so many things are questionable what you're allowed to talk about, but it's like everybody knows the nicotine companies told you smoking was, your doctor had a cigarette in his mouth. He believed it was good for him. We all know better. I mean, granted, they've gotten worse with the chemicals they put in them than just regular nicotine. Sure, it's good. I mean, you're smoking it, you're getting stuff in your lungs, but it didn't have as much tar. It still had some resin type stuff in there, but not nearly as much. And it didn't have all the friggin' chemicals. Holy crap. Dude, you're smoking like a friggin' chemical thing there, man. So anyway, Senate rejected a bunch of cuts. Kind of crazy. Trump delivers most secure border in history with new record low arrests, 0 admissions for 3 months. I don't even know what that 0 means. It's not 0. Like, there's got to be some, but we're obviously not aware of them, which is fine, right? And it's probably the southern border only, of course. But officials within U.S. Customs and Border Protection told Breitbart, Texas, that agents arrested 4,600 illegal aliens along the southwest border in July. The unofficial report reviewed by Breitbart represents a 24% decrease compared to the 672 arrests. Why is there a comma there? In June, is it missing a number? No. Oh, well, let's see. Would that be the number the month before? So there's probably another number in there. Whatever. Good job, Breitbart. All said, they're saying there's this big drop if you look at it, especially compared to June. The longer that Trump's been in, the fewer and fewer people are coming in. That's the number. Take that and run to the bank with it. But yeah, it's dropped significantly. And again, percentages, statistics, man. You can blame statistics all the time, or you can make statistics work for you all the time, or like everybody says, 72% of statistics are made up on the fly. Anyways, it's just a known fact. Alice Tang is the other one. Name my make-believe child after her. But Ecuador's considering visa restrictions for 45 countries. They're going to cut migration. U.S. NOAA was working through them. I'd love to let you guys hear my sweetheart talk, but it's not going to happen. Ecuador is looking for ways to help prevent illegal immigration. They're actually working with them and 45 other countries. NOAA is working some deals. I'm sure some of this is trade related. Not saying that she's making trade deals, but like Trump's like, well, Kristi Noem's going to come have a chit chat with you. And depending how that conversation goes, then we can chit chat about trade. And so I think that's, for the most part, how the deal's being made. And Alice Tang did a wonderful job telling us all about that. All about it. Jizzlain Maxwell is quietly moved to a cushy new Texas prison as she pushes for a deal to tell all on Epstein. She's got a new Texas prison, which, by the way, they don't tell us where she's at for a reason. I think somebody emailed me recently, and it's not a slam to you, sir, or whatever. I'm not trying to be mean. You made a good point. They're telling me that someone did a deep dive on this, someone that they trusted, and they found that she didn't exist in any of these prisons that we're talking about. And so I don't necessarily think every single prisoner in prison is a public record. I think there's a lot of stuff that's hidden from the public, and I would think Jizzlain Maxwell would most likely fall on that list, like just for the myriad of problems that could come with that, right? So I don't know. Whatever the case is, she got moved to they're saying a nicer place, lower security, yada, yada. Maybe she can actually eat like, I don't know, like couscous or whatever the hell she's into, something wild like that. Donald Trump truth this out. Republicans, when in doubt, vote the exact opposite of Senator Susan Collins. Generally speaking, you can't go wrong. Thank you for your attention to this matter and make America great again. Just reminding everybody, look, here's the thing. Susan Collins, you're toast. If you keep voting with her, you're going down. Murkowski and Susan are not going to obviously get reelected again, Senate. But we've got some other senators, 26-3 or whatever the hell that committee was. Not good. Trump trains his fire on GOP allies, and it's worrying Republicans. Now, it was mostly like, this is all about the Grassley stuff, which I think is fair. We've got a few, Tillis and apparently the Shelley Moore Capito. I don't know if normally you stand out, Shelley, but this is probably not the time to stand out in this way. But again, how many rhinos we got? Rand Paul, he's gone after him. Rand Paul said some kind of weird stuff. Mitch McConnell totally sucks. We know that. Tom Tillis is a nightmare, right? We haven't seen Ted Cruz pop up because he's not that stupid. Ted Cruz is a talker, but I think he's for the most part on our side of the fence. I just think he's been threatened. I've been saying that forever. Tommy Tuberville, he's ardent Trump backer, noted the use the term to block judges at his home state. What's this? Noted he used them to block Trump found death. Let's see, blue slip traditions. Yeah, Tommy Tuberville blocked somebody using a blue slip. So I don't know. A lot of these guys are pissed off about his blue slip stuff. I think some of this too. I wonder if this is just to make the public cooler with the fact that the Senate's likely just going to shut down because it's a freaking nightmare. Just shut up down and then let Trump do his what do they call it when he does does it without the Senate, right? When they're closed sessions, drawing a blank on it, whatever. They can do it, but it's under certain circumstances. That would be the bitchin' way to do it, and just then fight about it after. That'd be fine. Let them take the bad press for it, whatever. I mean, a lot of the news would have a field day with it, by the way. I mean, it's not just that easy to do all those cabinet appointing without, the Senate doing their thing, but they're just blocking stuff, period. Just end of story. Democrats, states, there's like, no, we're not going to let you put in a district attorney there that's actually good. Alaska Senator blocks Navy chief confirmation. You want to know why? Because he wanted them to reopen a base that exists up there. This is, in my opinion, this is the kind of shit that's bothering me a little bit because these senators, for sure, again, they've got to answer back to their people in Alaska. And people in Alaska are like, what have you done for us? But it's like, I get, okay, yay, you opened up a base and you're costing us more money. You're putting us in more debt. I get you're helping Alaska to a degree, but you're causing us all more money in the process. You're going to hold up somebody that probably should get in, confirmation of Admiral Daryl Cottle. He's uncontroversial. This guy is trying to get something for his state. Again, I get it to a point, but you're not thinking about making America great again. You're thinking about making Alaska great again. So your version of MAGA is very different than ours. And this is, again, we'll never solve the problem if everybody continues to do what everybody's continued to do. Einstein, I think, is the one that's given the quote for this, but today's problems cannot be solved with the same level of thinking with which we created them. Like you can't fix today's problems thinking the same way you thought when you created the problem. You've got to think differently. You got to get outside of that train of thought, or you will never fix the problem. You created the problem because your thinking is wrong. The evidence of that is the fact you have a problem. If your thinking was correct, there'd be no problem. This is the proof in the pudding. Trump truth, this Senate must stay in session, taking no recess until the entire executive calendar is clear. We have to save our country from the lunatic left. Republicans, for the health and safety of the USA, do your job and confirm all nominees. They should not be forced to wait. Thank you for your attention to this matter. This feels very much like Trump saying, close down the Senate. You got to do the opposite of what I say. Democrats will be on board. A bunch of the rhinos will be on board. Be like, you know what? We should just shut down the session. F Trump. He's not being our friend. You see how they're playing it all up? It's so they can justify the closure. We've already heard Thune sort of talking about how he might just have to do it. They're preparing us for that. That's what it feels like. We're getting a lot of the stories anyways. That's what I'm analyzing. Analyzing. Congressional Republicans, experts blast legacy media for peddling Russiagate, misleading Americans. If I got $1 every time I saw somebody in any one of the places I pull information, for every single instance of people bitching about mainstream media not covering something, if I got $1 for it, I seriously would never need to work another day. Actually, I did just probably enhance the number of places I look for stuff. I'd probably start looking at Axios. Whatever. I see it all the time. I can't. Here's another thing that hasn't been covered in mainstream media. What are you, stupid? Did you just wake up? Really? Seriously? You think mainstream media's gonna cover it? What, should they? They never have. What part of your broken brain doesn't get that? The mainstream media. Huh? Whatever. They're blasting legacy media for their dishonesty. Okay. Shame on you for being exactly as you are. You guys know the story about the scorpion and the frog, right? I mean, if you don't, look it up. Scorpion and the frog. It's a good story. If you don't know it, it's just perfect in that case. Smithsonian's removal of Trump from the impeachment exhibits drawing fire. Trump put pressure on the Smithsonian to remove this thing about him being impeached. Of course, Democrats are pissed at it. There you go. That's the story. Next. Right here, we've got Elon Musk kind of responding on something, and it takes a lot for me to want to share anything from this guy right now. He's still, I'm always about forgiveness, but it seems like if he keeps doing this kind of stuff, we'll be cool. We'll be cool. But Farzad was responding to Unusual Whales, who's someone I don't generally trust all that much. But FBI has reportedly redacted President Trump's name along with those of other prominent public figures from the Epstein files, per Bloomberg. Farzad's like, when a Democrat becomes president, they'll unredact these names. And then Musk responded to that. They won't, because major Dems and their donors are on the list too. So, again, we'll see. We'll see what's redacted and what's not. And again, this is Bloomberg, okay? This is not a source of information we trust. It's just a skosh better than Axios. Certainly, I would put it under Politico, but they're all really close. They're touching each other, I'm pretty sure, and they're gay like that. Or I think they're gay. They seem to be. They're kind of androgynous. I don't know. SOS, save our shipping. There is a huge opportunity right now for us to take sort of a very direct bit of control. I don't know. There's a lot of ports. And because of BlackRock and Vanguard, I think it's BlackRock at least. Who's the other one? CK Hutchinson's the seller. They're a major Hong Kong operator, and they're giving up a bunch of their ports. So there's, I think, like 43 of these shipping ports. And these are key. And at first, China was completely phased out of it. We'll see if they aren't still continuing. Because, again, there's deals with trade and things that are going on, and then Suez Canal, Panama Canal, these kinds of deals. This has to be worked out with China before we can move with clearing out a lot of the problems. We've got a very serious world problem, and that's what Trump focuses on. He could care less about Epstein because he's got way bigger fish to fry. So this could be interesting how this plays out. Again, this was fantastic. The more of these we can get, the fewer of them. Again, I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick to China, but China's proven to be, worthy of getting some dickage thrown at them, frankly. They've earned it. We'll see. Trump's global tariff breakdown. Full country-by-country list. We're not going to get into all the countries. That's stupid. 10% global minimum tariff has been imposed across all imports. So it's pretty much it. That's it. You're 10% if you got nothing. Otherwise, you got a bunch. Canada, their tariff was raised to 35% from 25% because of their Palestinian comment, probably, and other things. But goods under the USMCA still remain exempt. So there you go. Switzerland tariff was increased to 39% from 31%. Swiss officials criticized the change, citing divergence from prior draft terms. Yeah, we made a draft. You didn't sign it. that draft is no longer legit. So, yeah, you didn't sign the draft. Switzerland, which, by the way, is where Geneva is, which is, by the way, where the Rothschilds are. Many say underneath that lake, whatever the hell it is there. Yeah, try that on precise. Look that up. Lake wherever the hell it is there. I bet you find it. Geneva, Lake Geneva, I think it is. 40 countries import face a 15% fine. 12% economies hit with even higher duties. And China and Mexico got a delay. So, again, you don't need to see it. There's a lot of them. You want to see how many there are? Yeah, let's read them all off one by one. Yeah, no. Jamie Dimon appears less skeptical of the new Trump tariffs. So far, so good, he's saying, right? Morgan, or what is he? Is he JP Morgan, or is he what? Yeah, he's Chase. Yeah, JP Morgan Chase. Every once in a while. Trump tariff threat triggers political firestorm in India. This is a back and forth. The President Modi is like basically like, look, we've always gotten along with the United States. We're always going to get along with the United States. Trump's like, you guys you've never let us in trade-wise. You still aren't letting us in trade-wise. You don't want to buy any of our stuff. All right, like, okay, your tariff is what your tariff is. And India's like, all right, we don't really give you guys a whole lot of stuff. Now, iPhone's bummed. Again, they moved their manufacturing from China to India. So this doesn't help them at all, which I think is still funny, again, but... I'm curious how much cell phones should still get cheaper and cheaper from the big picture, but who knows with all the rare earths that are maybe involved, who knows. Trump vows to use every tool in the arsenal to force Big Pharma to cut drug prices. This, many are saying, affected the stock market today, probably, I think, the NASDAQ specifically. Jerome Too Late Powell, a stubborn moron, Trump says, must substantially lower interest rates now. If he continues to refuse, the board should assume control and do what everyone knows has to be done. Yeah, and the Fed. This is important. I don't know if this has been pinned. I don't know if you can tell, but yeah. Not firing Powell. I don't think that should happen. No, I don't agree with you, woman for Trump. I don't think we should fire Powell. No, that's a bad idea. And the Fed, for sure, good idea. This is bad idea. My opinion. Trump's demanding Pelosi probe. Look into where this chick's making way better numbers than anybody else out there. Way better. It's not even fair. Not even fair. He's like, she definitely knows stuff. Her returns are incredible. Her stock portfolio has returned over 700% since 2014. She's worth a crap ton of money. And shouldn't be. At least on paper. Makes no sense. Almost like she knows stuff. And by the way, nobody can really match those numbers, which is the funny part. Stock market's still having a crap day, as they say in the business. NASDAQ down 2.2%, S&P's down 1.6%, Dow's down 1.26%. I don't know, it's been up crap-ish every day for a while, like half a point, quarter point every day, so meh. But gold is up a bunch. It's at 34.02, and I bet silver's probably sitting higher right now too. Yeah, silver dipped down a little bit apparently, but it's 36.9. It's not, I don't know, it's not great, which is cool if you want to buy it, by the way. It's really cool. Where are the cryptos at? Let's have fun with those. So cryptos have gone down, a bunch. Bitcoin went down a bit, 1.43%. Ethereum's down 3.65%. See, people are moving money. This is one of the things that you've got to understand. When stocks are losing, people are going to pop out of crypto so they can buy the stocks that are going down. That's what you do. And so a lot of people are putting money in crypto that have lots of cash into crypto because they know when they sell the crypto off, they're going to get a way big boom on it because they got in, 3 months ago. And since they went in heavy, it causes the amount to go up, and then some other people buy in after that, and then when you sell it, it causes the price to go down. So we're seeing a lot of this stuff play out. We'll see if how it continues in the big picture. But, yeah. There's my girl again. Hi, Ms. Ting. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabe traveling to Gaza. A lot of the talk about the starvation and stuff that's happening there. It's a little crazy. Let's check out my girl.
Over to the Middle East, President Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff visited southern Gaza today. President Trump discussed aid in Gaza yesterday while speaking to the press.
Oh, it's terrible what's occurring there, yeah. It's a terrible thing. People are very hungry. You know, the United States gave $60 million for food, and it's a shame because nobody, I don't see the results of it, and we gave it to people that in theory are watching over it fairly closely. We wanted Israel to watch over it. Part of the problem is Hamas is taking the money and they're taking the food.
Witkoff inspected aid delivery sites, joined by U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabe. On the next post, Huckabe said they received briefings from the Israel Defense Forces and spoke to folks on the ground. The aid site is operated by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, an American nonprofit organization. Huckabe said the group delivers more than 1 million meals a day. Witkoff's visit comes off a week after U.S. officials walked away from ceasefire talks in Qatar, blaming the Hamas terror group. They pledged to seek other ways to rescue Israeli hostages and make Gaza safe. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt yesterday said Witkoff was sent to craft a plan to boost food and aid deliveries. Meanwhile, Trump wrote on social media that the fastest way to end the crisis would be for Hamas to surrender and release hostages.
Thank you, Alice Tang. I just like the last name, too. Arab nations have clarity on Hamas that UK, France, and Canada don't. I'm going to play the first 5 minutes of this because I actually thought it was pretty good. And I think they really do cover this question quite well. And we've got a weird transition that's happening with the deep state in Israel. A lot of people, again, love to go very black and white. Israel. It's like, we got to understand there's components of Israel that are not good, and there are parts of Israel, like the good old-fashioned Jewish community, that we kind of sort of need to protect. The Palestinian thing is a whole nother side, but whatever the case is, we've got a very interesting time happening with this. Check this out, though. I thought this was pretty good. 5 minutes at least.
We begin tonight with U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabe, former governor of Arkansas, among other titles. I covered the Middle East for 4 years. I never saw a U.S. ambassador go to Gaza. Hasn't been one since I was there in 2014. You're going in the midst of a war tomorrow morning to Gaza. Why is it worth the risk? What do you hope to find?
Well, the president wanted Steve Witkoff and me to go into Gaza, get a firsthand look of the situation with food, humanitarian efforts, the distribution of food and medical supplies. There's been so much misinformation, and a lot of it has been just malicious. The tragedy is that Israel's getting the blame for the lack of humanitarian care, but the fact is, it's Hamas that started the war, Hamas that murdered 1,200 people, that took 250 people hostage, and they're the ones that are making it very, very difficult to get food to them because they continue to steal and loot the trucks of food that's coming in through the UN source. So we're going to go firsthand. The president wants to report as soon as we get back. And, I just appreciate a president with the clarity to say Hamas isn't going to continue to live there, rule there. They've got to be stopped, and the hostages have to be let go.
Yeah, the president said the fastest way to end the humanitarian crisis in Gaza is for Hamas to, capital letters, surrender and release all the hostages. Noteworthy, Egypt, the Saudis, and the Qataris told Hamas to lay down their weapons and go. That's significant. But just on this point, I agree with you. The original blood libel after October 7th was Israel was committing war crimes. The new one is Israel's causing starvation. But can we say there is starvation in Gaza? It is not Israel's fault, ... I would ask you, does that mean there is nothing else Israel can or should do to alleviate the pain of at least some people in Gaza who are innocent?
Well, the fact is, Leland, they are. They're the ones who are making it possible to send the food through, whether it's the GHF program. They've opened up routes for hundreds of trucks to go in and distribute food. Some of the food agencies didn't want to take it in. They didn't think it was safe. So they parked the trucks. They parked the pallets of food. There was enough piled up that could have fed Gaza for 2 years. And here's the bigger question. Can you tell me any country in all of human history who was attacked, who was the victim of a war, and who were then criticized for not feeding the people who attacked them? This is insane. I mean, I've never heard of it, ever. And here's the interesting thing.
Israel's always held to a different standard. You and I think, both know why. But I just want to put a button on this to be clear, because there were some questions about this. The United States is not asking Israel to do anything more or differently.
No, the United States believes that Israel has gone above and beyond, and they've tried to protect civilians, but Hamas keeps amassing them in front of military targets. One thing I think is interesting, it's the European nations and Canada and other Western civilized nations who are pushing Israel harder than they're pushing Hamas. And it's fascinating that this week it was the Saudis, the Qataris, and the Emiratis who said to Hamas, lay down your weapons, let the hostages go. My gosh, think about what a contrast that is. And here's the other part of it. Has France or the UK or Canada or the Netherlands or Ireland, have they sent any food to Gaza? No, they haven't. Have they sent any volunteers? No, they haven't. Have they offered to take any refugees from Gaza? Not one. The hypocrisy is glaring.
Yeah, look, there used to be a joke when I was in Israel, Lord, I can take care of my enemies, help me with my friends, which now applies and is no longer a joke when it comes to UK, France, and Canada. They have said that they will recognize a Palestinian state in September and basically abandon Israel. Is it fair to say that those three countries have chosen Hamas over Israel?
That's a very fair statement. It sounds harsh, but how else can you interpret it? And by the way, you know who really celebrated those statements that were being made by France and the UK and Canada and the other countries? Hamas. They loved it. They danced in the streets over it. That ought to tell you everything you need to know, because it really emboldened Hamas. It gave them a sense of new life. They were shaking their pom-poms over this at a time when, my gosh, what they should be doing is demanding that hostages get released and saying we will join with Israel and the United States in eradicating Hamas. And there's to be no way that Hamas survives this, for the same reason that nobody thought it would have been a good idea to let the Nazis survive World War II in Germany and have some role in governing Germany after World War II.
Yeah.
I always find when they bring the Nazi argument in again, it was the Nazis that killed the Jews, supposedly, right? And I'm not trying to say it didn't happen. I'm just saying that there is so many. It's like even saying, I feel like I got a finger quote when I say I think the Earth's round, right? Like I apologize for those that don't, and there's a bunch that do, a bunch that don't. So there's a lot of variance in our group. I always talk about trying to find common ground. It's like, right? Like let's look at some of the other aspects of this. I mean, the religion side of this too. A lot of people, don't necessarily like the Jews. I grew up, I had a very good friend that was Jewish, so it kind of taught me some weird stuff. And I don't know. I've just always realized that there's a lot of people that believe differently, and we all have our proof that we use as individuals, but other people obviously used a different proof and came to a different conclusion. And personally, rather than thinking they're wrong and I'm right, I look at it like, I wonder why they think they're right. Because for me, it's always been about trying to know God better, understand God better, right? Like if somebody else believes in what I think is probably the same God, but they got kind of a different take on it, I'm kind of curious, like I don't want to necessarily follow their religion. Like, I was in my own religion. I've told people many a time, but there was a progression from that. That's kind of what I grew from. And I just think there's a lot of beauty in understanding other people's religions. And I find too, by the way, some of them seem sort of oddly regional. They've spread, especially nowadays, but a lot of religions were very regional. They were regionalized, and this is like beliefs that kind of fit the place and the area and the time, or even some could argue different Elohim being in charge of different parts of the world. So again, how far down the rabbit hole do we want to go? But what's happening in Israel is weird with the starving. There's people that are saying it's not happening. We do know that they're sending more people to check it out, right? Huckabe and what's his face. We also are sending an additional 52 million in life-saving food assistance to people. Well, we're sending food there. I know that, but they're also sending it to the Democratic Republic of Congo, Ethiopia, Haiti, Djibouti. So under President Trump, the United States remains the world's leading provider of humanitarian aid. We still are. We've got a lot of food we grow in this country, and we're using it in the right ways and giving it to people we can and trying to help. And again, a lot of the aid that has come from the UN is the problem, by the way, in Iran. It's not the aid coming from us, essentially, flowing through Israel, though they've gotten a little weird and supposedly killed people. I don't know if that's true or not. They've gotten a little weird about how they open it and how they close these lines, because they're open for a short period of time, and then people are stealing from these others. So there's a weird problem still happening from the Hamas side that are trying to control and take power and ownership and stockpile. And so we're still fighting this thing, I think, this really perverse, gross kind of group of people that just have no respect for other humans, that want to be in total control and total, again, the narcissist kind of thing. Like they want to be in charge. It has to be. Well, I got a couple people close to me that are narcissists. I just kind of recently watched a video because one of the people on the trip is a dear guy, but he's kind of a narcissist, or totally a narcissist, and it gets under my skin, and I don't want him to be able to. And like I said, I've got other family members that fall into that category, and it's just it's tough. My mom was that way, for that matter. Now, maybe I'm more than I want to admit. Who knows? But I don't think so. All said, it's a strange situation that we're living in right now. The State Department on Thursday issued a joint statement with the leaders of 13 of the United States' closest allies. I just told you that number is going to be coming back recently. Just thought it was funny. Including the United Kingdom. There's actually 13 countries that they list in here. Again, I don't want to read them all, but they're here, right here. Boom. But yeah, they're talking about how Iran intelligence is still threatening people, threatening leaders, journalists, yada, yada. So, I don't know. It seems to be some sort of direct statement against Iran. The State Department, I think that's like we've got control of, I think. So we're issuing this statement. So, yeah, we'll, maybe we should see what we got. Whoops, story-wise. Went on picture. Dadgummit. Yeah, U.S. State Department. I can't imagine this isn't under our control. So 13, good number to get back. Iran tried to kill Trump. I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff. Sorry, I'm thinking too much while we should just move forward. Move on. Proud Patriots, just fun. I mean, the link below is the easiest way to get there. If not, I mean, it's on the screen, which would be painful to type in. Like I said, there's a link. It'll probably be in the top of the description box. But it's just cool stuff. I mean, you don't have to hit the link. You can still go here and get cool stuff and just not give me credit for it. It's either way. But I actually think these guys have some really, really neat stuff. I do have the Trump bear. I got one of the bobbleheads, but I don't think they sell that one anymore. But they got, supposedly these are legal tender, these $2 bills. They say it. It's probably true. I mean, I wouldn't think paying $29.99 for a $2 bill is a smart move if you're actually planning on spending it. But, if you're baller like that, dude, and you've got, just millions of dollars and you want to just impress people, you're like, yeah, how much is a pack of gum? $2? Well, here you go. Here's a $2 bill. That cost me $30 for that pack of gum, right? Yeah. You're balling like that, you go, boy. We got some cool-ass pens, too. Very cool pen. I'm a pen person. I like pens. I'm weird. If I start a new project, I do this frequently. If I start a new project, I'll buy a specific pen for it. It's just, I'm weird that way. Not like I freak out, but then I will be honest, I don't want to let people use that pen. I'll go and grab them another one. I have extra pens. You can't use that one. And again, there's an energy to the pen. The pen's very specific. It's just something I do. One of the many nutty things I do. Yeah. Living with me can't be easy. Not at all. That's why I live alone. The three of us get along fine. We do. Yeah. Here we go. We got coins. We got all these kind of cool stuff, guys. You gotta check it out. The bomber picture. I love this. Proud Patriots just got cool stuff. And they got these are supposedly legal tender too. Again, $30. If you're spending $30 for a $2 bill, you are a baller. Something's wrong with you. All sorts of things. Again, yeah, just cool stuff. The coins, the collectible currencies, right? Hats, cups, the bullet in the cup. That's pretty cool. Oh, Inauguration Day, I try to hit bullet. Oh, that's kind of cool, actually. That's pretty cool. I'm going to click on it anyway, see what that's all about. Look at that. That is radical, as we would say back in the day. $35. So that's rad. I wonder if it could take freezing. That'd be some question I'd have in my stupid brain. 11-ounce whiskey rocks glass. Very cool. Made with real lead-free solid copper. Okay, that's good. No lead's not going to kill you. No bullets. The bullets did not react well to this device. Not all the things typically react well to bullets. In this case, reacted well. All right, very good. All right, enough of that. Proud Patriots, you got to hit the link below and go check it out. Got some cool stuff. At least give a little credit to the channel. Trump admins secret talks with Moscow are fruitless as Putin boasts troops advancing along the entire front line. Again, this is a game that's being played. It's an optics game. I think Trump and Putin aren't necessarily, they could be playing together. I think they're working together, though, to a degree. To a degree. I know, and I agree. I keep hearing Juan O'Savin talk about this, and it's just, I think Trump is going to do what's best for America, obviously, and he's got to sell it to his people. Putin's going to do what's best for his country, and he's got to sell it to his people. And then ultimately, there's going to be this back and forth that is sold to everybody else, right? So we're going to have this experience that I think is they're trying to make work as best they can, and it's going to overlap a little, and it's going to give credit where it'll be interesting to see, but I think we're getting close to it. I mean, I think August 8th, they're saying we should be seeing something, and Russia's definitely not slowing down. So, yeah, we're doing the talk over here. We're like, oh, we're going to sanction the hell out of you. You wait, boy. Right? Like, they're just like fronting, U.S. and U.K., apparently we're behind the cyber attack on the Aeroflot, the Russian airline. I think this really, if it falls into anybody, it's going to be England. I don't think Trump would have ordered this, but sure. Let's say it's U.S. and U.K. And I think Russia's basically saying, look, we understand that U.K. is not so much you, but at the same time, you're letting them do this. It's your technology they're using to do it. They're just using Five Eyes in order to do it. I honestly think that's what's being said here. Like, it's our fault that UK is able to do this. And so that's kind of messed up. But at the same time, it does kind of show other countries too. Not that it's necessary, but look what we can do. We shut down an entire airline. China, don't screw with us. Could be bad for you. And again, it's Russia's accusing us of this. These are the biggest wartime buyers of Russian fossil fuels. This is interesting to know. China, top. India next. Turkey next. European Union at number 4. Brazil at 5. Then Singapore, South Korea, Saudi Arabia. Gee, who are some of the ones we had a hard time making deals with on the tariffs? Who are some of the people that are using the most of... Who are going to be most affected by the sanctions? China, India, Turkey, EU, Brazil. That's the top 5. That's crazy. Trump tells Ursula von der Leyen to her stupid face that the EU won't be getting anything less than 15% tariffs.
Mr. Trump, can you do better than 15% tariff rate for the EU?
Better meaning lower?
Yeah.
No.
Mr. President, to return to God. Mr. Trump,
he didn't say F no. No. He didn't laugh, right? That's how I would have said it. No. Hell no. Woo. That was funny. I didn't know we were going to have a comedy show. That would have been me. It would have taken 14 extra minutes. Russia liberates key Donbass stronghold. They've got Drochkovka and Slavyansk. Yeah, whatever. Igor Kimakovsky. He's an advisor to the head of the Donetsk People's Republic, said the fall of this Chasiv Yar area essentially leads to the collapse of Ukraine. Like they've gotten their last little areas here. It's winding down. There it is. Kramatorsk and Drushkovka. I love these crazy words. I don't know if I'm close, I think, but not probably totally accurate always. It's still fun trying to just say it in an accent. Like a Kevin Hart joke. Say it with your chest. His uncle said that. Something stupid. Anyway, Donald Trump, truth this. I have just been informed that almost 20,000 Russian soldiers died this month in this ridiculous war with Ukraine. Russia has lost 112,500 soldiers since the beginning of the war. That is a lot of unnecessary death. Ukraine, however, has also suffered greatly. They have lost approximately 8,000 soldiers since January 1st, 2025, and that number does not include their missing. Ukraine has also lost civilians, but in smaller numbers as Russian rockets crash into Kyiv and other Ukrainian locales. This is a war that should have never happened. This is Biden's war, not Trump's. I'm just here to see if I can stop it. He's like, yeah, I'm kind of giving up. And I guess the big question is, well, you're going to keep giving weapons? And he's like, no, we don't really have them to give. Carolyn Leavitt talks about the $200 million ballroom that they're creating. It's kind of not worth 3 minutes. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be on the same grounds. It's going to be looking kind of like the White House. I mentioned it's going to be beautiful. There you go. For the kids, childhood vaccination rates continue to drop. That's what CDC data is suggesting. There you go. I'm just saying. Fortnite developer Epic Games celebrates total victory over Google in App Store antitrust case. This is a big deal. Fortnite was pissed that they couldn't create alternative ways to buy products in-game because Google wanted to control and get a piece of it. Apple's doing this too, and this is going to be bad for Apple and good, frankly. This is kind of bullshit. They get a lot of money. It's like 25 to 30% of the money that you pay goes to Apple or Google. And then think about it. All you're doing is hosting it to a degree, like just the ability to up and download and, update it. You've got a little app that does that and that we have to publish to as a company. So because of that, you get 25% of all my money. Like, that sucks if you're a developer, especially if you're like a mom and pop shop type thing. China probes NVIDIA over alleged H20 AI chips backdoor security risk. Wow, really? I was like, could this article be more gay? You're probing and you got a backdoor thing going on in the same sentence? Each his own. Fat or lean, thick or thin, Vaseline will get it in. You got to do what you got to do. But yeah, U.S. lawmakers have previously called for advanced chips exported from the U.S. to be equipped with location tracking features. This is pissing China off. And we're like, they're like, it's also got a shutdown feature. And they're like, it's got one of those too. So apparently these chips have a backdoor that China's not fond of. So these chips are not really good for China. Whoops. Sorry. Oh, China, I'm so sorry. That's so bad. Oh, shucks. Two Waymos equipped with LiDAR crashed into each other. There were two Jaguars, by the way. Who, by the way, their CEO stepped down, just in case you didn't know, because they came up with a super woke media blitz. It failed miserably, cost the company crap tons of money. And so she stepped down, and in the process, two Waymo vehicles crashed into each other, and they were Jaguars. They were not Teslas. Their complaint that they were pushing really in here is, well, if this happened with Tesla, they would have talked about it. And that's actually probably true. Again, $1 for Dan on this story because they were talking about how Main Street Media didn't cover it. Whatever. It is still funny, though. Two Jaguars crashed into each other rather than not crashing into each other. By the way, and if you're one of these people that believes in a car, well, I don't mean believes. If you trust this car with no driver, I always think of Johnny Robot in, when they went to Mars? Total Recall. Dude, that little robot turns his head around. It's like, who's driving? Nonetheless, Russian and U.S. space agencies agreed to extend the cooperation. They're going to continue the International Space Station for another few years, 2028. I thought it was supposed to basically reach end of life this year, and they were going to try to pawn it off to commercial people, and I don't think anybody wanted to pay for it, or Jeff Bezos maybe has to liquidate some stocks to be able to buy it, whatever the case is. Dude, we've had movies where people just lived in space. It's totally going to be one of those schmucks. It's keeping me alive. It's keeping the cancer from moving. I don't think it was an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, but whatever the case was, we've got really good music coming up. Some of my favorite songs. In fact, one of my all-time favorites. It's a common song, but it's a 12-inch version of it. And to me, it's just, I don't know what it is. It is a bitchin' ass version. I remember I listened to it a bunch on my trip to Springfield when I went to Mike Lindell's third symposium, my second, and also spent an hour in Catalina trying to find the song. I didn't remember what it was. Couldn't remember what it was. I'm like, there's a song, and I want to hear it, and I know I do, but I can't remember what it is. And it was a process getting there. Needless to say, I think it inspired this week's show. Also, having 2 less days to put stuff together made it trickier, too. But, here we are. It's Friday. Happy Friday. 2 hours from right now, I will be going live. I hope you guys are there to join me. All I can say is I've got to do the work to make sure you have an opportunity to hear me say that before 3 o'clock. It's going to be tricky. Only a few of you will have heard it. But I love you guys. We're going to continue working forward, shoulder to shoulder. We will get there. We will get there. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.